Well, preseason is officially over for the Minnesota Vikings in 2022. So, yeah, let's go ahead and kind of get into it. So, preseason, I mean, it really doesn't mean much at the end of the day as far as like wins, losses, and all that stuff is concerned, but you're more looking at your depth, you're more looking at your coaching staff and stuff like that. But the Vikings did finish preseason 0-3, and there's going to be a lot of decisions made. And again, going 0-3 in preseason really doesn't mean a whole lot. It just more so depends on how you actually look. Because, well, the Rams, I'm pretty sure, went 0-3 last year in preseason, and, well, we all know how that ended up for them. So, yeah. I mean, let's just go ahead and kind of get into my thoughts going into the regular season and a few things that I'm going to be, looking at and all that stuff. So, first things first, the depth at the quarterback position. Yikes. But, like I say, with them going out there and addressing it and getting Nick Mullins, that definitely helps. Because, well, pretty sure the Spielman and Zimmer regime over the last couple of seasons would have literally just, dug their heels into the sand and said, screw it. But with Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi, they literally kind of worked the phones and stuff like that and were like, you know what? We need to go out there and get someone. Because Mond and Mannion, well, Mannion more so than Mond. We pretty much know what to expect with Mannion. He's probably not going to change, but Mond is still relatively young. Mond still has development ahead of him, hopefully. Who knows? So, I will say, though, Mond did look alright in this last preseason game. At least when he wasn't getting blitzed up the middle and literally looking like a deer in the fucking headlights. Where have we seen that before, Vikings fans? But again, literally second-year quarterback, with a regime that basically called him dirt last year. I don't really think I have to go into that too much, but so, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they do, the quarterback cuts and stuff like that, because I don't expect them to keep 4 quarterbacks, but at the same time, who knows? I mean, in this day and age and stuff like that, with COVID still being an issue, injuries being as bad as they are, and if you slide him onto the practice squad, does he get picked up by someone else? Does he, just flat out get cut? I don't know. Because again, it's not like Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell drafted Mond. But he's still very young and very raw, so there might still be something there. And then moving on to the receiving core. I mean, we have some really good receivers, but our tight end depth is, well, pretty much non-existent. Looking at you, Nick Muse. You had 3 opportunities to catch him today, and, well, you didn't. However, though, Zach Davidson did kind of look pretty decent this last game, so, out of Central Missouri, I don't even think he was a tight end. I think he was kind of coming in the NFL and learning how to do all that stuff, so, hey, congratulations, Not too upset there at all. But again, though, tight end is still a major concern moving forward. Who knows, with cuts and all that stuff. Maybe the Vikings go out there and look for someone, at the very least for depth purposes. Because, well, at this point, I can't, guarantee that Irv Smith will even be healthy, enough to play significant minutes. I mean, last couple seasons he's been banged up, and last year he missed the entire season. So, and of course he got banged up during preseason this year, or either preseason or during one of the practices, and is out until week 1. Again, I mean, I had a lot of hope. I mean, I still have a lot of hope for Irv Smith, but your best ability is availability. And if you're not available on the field, well, you're not going to last long. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah. Our running back depth is whoo-wee. I mean, I'm very impressed with our running backs. All the way down. I mean, obviously we know Dalvin, Madison. I don't think we hardly saw any of them other than Madison for a couple snaps last week. Kene Nwangu, I mean, other than one fumble, actually looked really, really good. So it's kind of nice to see that they are developing Nwangu as more. Now, I don't know if it's Nwangu, Wongwu. I mean, I've heard it pronounced a lot of different ways. So, but yeah, Wongwu also had a couple of returns last year. So we all know that if he gets open, he's dangerous. I mean, he has some speed to him. And then, of course, Ty Chandler might be one of the prized Mr. Mankato, I guess, for lack of a better term, candidates from this past preseason and training camp. I mean, he looked solid out of North Carolina. And, yeah, I mean, again, just another solid running back to add to the group. And even Kobeck, I mean, you know, the undrafted free agent, came in and had some solid runs too. So, be interesting to see what they do there as far as how many they keep, how many they put on the practice squad, how many just flat out get cut, maybe picked up by other teams. Who knows? And yeah, no, that basically sums up the offense, well, other than the line, but the line was, I mean, it is what it is. They are not the greatest line in the world, especially our, you know, third string depth. I mean, Kellen Mond literally got, basically no sooner did he hike the ball than you saw like 2 or 3 defensive linemen right in his face. And then that last sequence looked like a Cousins sequence from like 2 seasons ago, like with the game on the line. Sack, 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 turnover on downs. So, I mean, again, nothing against the Broncos. I mean, their defensive line is pretty nasty. That's just, it is what it is, you know. But, again, I don't care if you're second string or third string or practice squad or just some guy from Arby's, you know. You gotta be able to block. Especially if you are an offensive lineman. But, I mean, our starting unit looks alright, other than Bradbury's still, I don't know. That could be another very big thing going into next year's draft, is more lineman depth and all that stuff, so. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, that basically sums up the offense. The offense I don't feel too worried about, especially when we get Thielen, Jefferson, Cousins, Cook, Madison, those guys back in. So, yeah. On to the defense. Now, this is going to get interesting because we have a lot of young guys. Like second, third string guys, you know, that are first, second, maybe even third year guys who really haven't had a chance to prove anything. Because they either were on deep teams or Zimmer didn't really want to. Again, like I say, I know I always harp on, you know, Zimmer didn't want to develop. Zimmer didn't develop, you know. But honestly, you know, like if you don't develop or you don't try to develop your guys, well, I don't think I got to tell you. But yeah, again, like I say, we'll just wait and see there as far as how they do the cuts and stuff like that, because our defensive line looks pretty good. And T.Y. McGill is my pick for Mr. Mankato, at least on the defensive side of things, if not for the whole entire thing, because he was on fire. At least till he got tweaked up, but I'm just hoping that he sticks, because he's going to be some really good, like, second and third string depth for us. And honestly, who knows? even if he doesn't make it with the Vikings, just because, again, we have a lot of good linemen and all that stuff on the defensive side of things, so I would expect him to get picked up and maybe, at the very least, be on another practice squad or whatever. So, again, T.Y. McGill looked phenomenal. Our secondary was, for the most part, they weren't too bad. Again, though, when you're literally playing second and third string guys, it's kind of expected. And, with former regimes who, had a lot of the young talent that was drafted over the last couple of years and not really developing them and all that stuff. But, so, they're basically rookies at this point, learning more about how to do stuff in the NFL, become that NFL player. Plus, like I say, it's a new regime and new defensive scheme, too. So even the veterans have to kind of relearn some of that stuff, especially the linemen and linebackers going from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Base defense, that is. Even though they'll probably be in nickel most of the time because, well, that's basically where the NFL is going at this point. So, and of course, special teams. And yes, our rookie punter is a big, beefy boy. He's like 6'6", 240. Wearing number 66, and it's just... I love it, man. I love it. I freaking love it. But, yeah, not to mention, he also had a 68-yard punt, so, is our holder as well. And also, Greg Joseph looked pretty good. Our long snapper looked good, too. No really, bad snaps or things that could have gone haywire, so. And again, as a Vikings fan, I don't think we have to go into how I feel about our special teams units over the last few years. Good God. The amount of times we've played musical chairs with our kicking and punting unit in like the 5 years since Blair Walsh. Yeah. It's kind of nice to actually have some stability for once, so. And then, of course, the return game. It's looking like Amir Smith-Marset for punts and Wongwu for the kickoffs. So, pretty much like last year, for the most part. So, who knows? We'll just wait and see here because Tuesday is cut down day. So, that's when you have to have the 53-man roster basically finalized, or at least the 53 players who are going to be on the roster. So, yeah, but here we are, boys. 2022 preseason in the books. Now these games count for real, guys. Now these games count for real. So yeah, like I say, stay tuned. I do have a couple of things coming in the mail over the next few days or so. And of course, stay tuned for my week 1 preview. And yeah, we're back, boys. Minnesota Vikings football. Hopefully it's a better season than last year. So until we meet again, this is Jacob. Skol.